Rin is done with her withdrawals and she comes out of her cabin. She notices how strong her mind is, and even though the phoenix is still lingering around, she is able to keep it at a distance. It's not so much up front in her business. She immediately wants to go see Vaisra, and Vaisra is very accommodating to her requests and attends her quickly. When Rin sees him, they are alone. It's just the two of them. He starts commanding her to give him a flame. And he starts to say, make it bigger. Can you shape it? And Rin starts to lose her trust in herself and she freaks out. She admits it to Vaisra that she just doesn't trust herself. Vaisra says, trust in me. This whole situation is very creepy and it's giving grooming vibes. Rin is at her lowest point and she needs someone to hold on to. Vaisra saw that immediately and latched on. He starts to change his tone with her and his attitude to accommodate her. One moment he's authoritative, the next he's very gentle and parenting. And it's alarming because Rin is such a young woman and she has made Alton into this figure that she can latch onto. But now that he's gone, Vaisra is now taking his place. And it's easy for him to do this because Rin wants someone so badly to tell her what to do. In the audio, it feels more creepy because the voice, the narrator, she does this really good job of making him sound older with a little shake in the voice. And when he calls her a good girl, it's like, ugh, like I don't want to hear it. And then we cut to Vaisra shows Rin that he has Alton's trident. Rin gets very emotional. Of course, Vaisra is there to comfort her. And he starts to caress her head. He tells Rin that you'll become a better soldier than Alton. And Rin is saying that it should have been her life instead of Alton's life. And he's, of course, counters that and just tells her what she needs to know in that moment. Very gross. Now we cut to Rin starting to train with Naja. And they start to talk about Kittai. It's really nice to have a conversation about how brilliant Kittai is. He definitely deserves it. He is very smart. Naja has been his biggest bully. So it's nice to have the relationship change and blossom into like a friendship and having Naja admire Kittai. That's the whole situation is really nice, and it's nice to have it now. Naja has been deprived from friends because of his secrets, so it's also just nice to see Naja finally have at least two friends on his side, and that's definitely what he needed. And I also want to point out that Kittai would have been a nomad, a scholar, and it's in this world he can't be any of that. We then move on to Naja and Rin, where they are taking a break and they're eating their steam buns. Naja asks Rin about her bruise, the one his father gave her. And Naja goes on to say, oh, father doesn't hit hard enough to hurt or something like that. That's very sad. They both discuss the bruises that they have or the marks that they have that Vaisra gave them. And it's just like this nonchalant conversation of abuse. And it just shows the tight grip that Vaisra has on both of them. It's really, really important to remember that Vaisra has a very tight grip on Naja. We also get a really nice comparison between Vaisra and Naja. It's really nice that it's like back-to-back moments where Rin asks about Naja's scar and she wants to touch it. She wants to like brush her fingers across it. And Naja kind of caresses or touches Rin's hair and comments how it's nice to see her eyes again. It's a huge comparison between Vaisra and Naja. Vaisra, who did it to manipulate her, versus Naja, who does it because he cares about her. It's this delicate moment between like these two kids. They seem so young here, and they seem so old in the third book. Rin is starting to train and she's not doing so well. She's preparing to meet the Empress, and during this whole training session, she's training with her trident, and it feels a bit clunky for her. They also discuss how powerful the Empress is. She is the last man standing when it comes to the trifecta. They have this conversation between strength versus desire, and which is stronger. Rin, she kind of underestimates Daji as a woman, and she feels like she is the stronger opponent because she has the phoenix. But the people around her keep reminding her how scary the trifecta really were. Well, there is true fear when it comes about the history of the trifecta and the emperor and his sidekicks, Daji and June, the gatekeeper. As she continues her training, she starts to come up with her own fighting technique, and it's nice that she's using her martial arts skills with the phoenix. And it's also like an acknowledgement of she doesn't need her trident at all. The trident really was like a flashy weapon for Alton, and maybe it was sort of like forced upon him to use a trident, or it was just like a flashy weapon given to him, versus Rin, who her flashiness comes from her martial arts skills. She won the tournament when she was in Synagard, so she doesn't really need a weapon. She is a weapon in herself. And while she's doing this new technique and she's able to take down the one training her, Naja and Vaisra see this, and Naja witnessing her training is, I think, I want to point out how important that can be. I don't feel like it's mentioned enough how much Naja has been paying attention to Rin since book 1. They've been rivals to now friends to now training partners later down the line. And I just don't feel like there's enough emphasis on how much Naja truly knows Rin. And not just Kittai who knows Rin. Naja knows, also understands and just really knows her psyche. But that's not the whole point of this moment. The point of this moment is when Vaisra is very proud at Rin's development, and Rin is very, very excited. She's very happy. When she gets approval, it's like the best thing for her. It's like the best thing that happens to her. Rin, how easy she is influenced from a higher authority. And as a grown-up hearing and listening to the story, it's very sad because children can get influenced so easy, especially when they have nothing to their name. How important parents need to be in a child's life, and how influential parents can be to their children. Vaisra is a little complicated because I don't think there's a father and daughter duo here. It's very complicated, and there's really I feel like there's no definition of their relationship. But in book 3, there's like a little thing that happens that makes me question their relationship. I think right now it feels like a authoritative guardian figure in her life. When Rin gets told about the plan entering the palace, they tell her that she has to be high. She's not happy about it, which is understandable, but it's also like I'm really proud of her for finally understanding how strong her mind is. She, just within being sober, she's able to have very strong barriers against the phoenix, that she can be this strong individual who knows if later down the line she could have been able to control the phoenix and not let the phoenix control her. It's really nice and a proud moment for me to listen to her and finally understand how strong she is. She also questions why she doesn't just kill the Empress when she sees her. But again, they keep telling her how scary the Trifecta is, and Daji is able to bring men, the strongest of men, down to their knees. Even Vaisra is scared of her. So right now, Rin doesn't understand the true power that Daji has, and I think that is also like in a sexist point of view, because in this world, women are not as strong or valuable as men. And I just love the buildup of how important and scary and powerful the Trifecta is, because in book 3, it kind of, things come together in book 3. So they are entering the town where the Empress is at. It's very busy, it's very beautiful and luxurious. And Rin sees a lot of pointless activities like fishing for these rare fishes, and she sees silk, and it's all a reminder of the injustice the world they live in. And I guess in our world as well, these people are living in like riches, versus the rest of the country are living in poverty. And it's also a callback to the first few pages where she enters another very prosperous town and she loses her emotions and burns the town, versus here where she's sober, she's able to control her emotions. And not only that, she has a cause that she believes in, which is Vaisra. In this also moment, Kitai gets to learn the truth about his father and family. They are unfortunately gone. And because of this, he turns on the Empress and demands soldiers and a new uniform. His reality and commitment is starting to unravel, and now he has completely switched sides. The anger he feels towards the Empress, I think, really affect him in book 3. Moving on, we have Rin and Vaisra visiting the monkey warlord and Vaisra's old professor. They discuss his plans to overtake the Empress and have this new democracy. But the monkey warlord wants peace. Peace, from a poverty point of view, can create opportunities. Reminds me of like Alexander Hamilton, where he is wanting war so he can change possibly his status. There's opportunity to be found during difficult times, while peace from someone in a higher position means that they continue to live in their comfortable bubble. Why would I want war and change my situation and cause me to lose more than I want to? So him saying he wants peace is ridiculous. He's also worried about the Trifecta, and he reminds how scary they are. And again, the buildup is really great. RF Kwan really cooks in this book for book 3. I mean, she's been cooking since book 1. So it's like nice to have like these moments of foreshadowing. When he asks how they plan to take out the Empress, Vaisra points to Rin. And the warlord says, "I'm so sorry." And it's so freaking true. What she's about to experience is going to hurt so much. When I first listened to the audiobook, I didn't understand like why he said sorry, other than the fact that, because in my mind she was going to be triumphant, right? But no, rereading it or re-listening to it, I agree, it's what she's about to experience is going to be very painful. When Rin meets the warlords, a few important things happen. And one of those things is that she sees her old martial arts teacher again. And of course, he hates her, and I agree. I don't blame him. But he also understands the true threat that she can bring. Like, she might not be a threat now, but she legit will be and can be a threat later down the line. He is probably the only person that has the right idea about Rin, and that is to take her out immediately. She also gets to see all the other warlords, and she gets to also see, thanks to the Empress, how incompetent they are. They argue and cannot agree to anything. While all of this is happening, one, we do get to see like an insight of how the warlords are dealing with the war and the famine, and we get to see how they're handling the refugees. Daji is looking at Rin, like giving her like, are you watching this? Because it's very important for her to witness all of this. So Daji and Rin go meet and talk in private, and she discussed how Alton was during his time in her care, which is similar to the way Vaisra has Rin under his care. But that's like later on. And how Alton is also committed to Daji. Like now, Rin is going to be committed to Vaisra. While they continue to talk, I think this is one of the most interesting parts in the series. Daji starts to explain some history, and that includes the Hesperians. She goes on to explain how dangerous they are and how they are the true threat. And she also says how the Hesperians are not really taught in school, and that they kind of get brushed off. And it's very true in our history today. Things get brushed off while we're learning. And while all of this is happening, Rin is only thinking about taking her out. Daji doesn't really know what she's doing. She's biting more than she can chew. She wants Rin to join her side. Rin is such a potential weapon, and everybody wants a piece of her. Daji wants her. Vaisra has her. The warlords are scared of her and call her a dog. Everybody just wants to use her. All of this has consequences, and it really explodes in book 3. I feel really sorry for Rin, especially as the book continues. She's this lost and confused child who just wants someone to love her and someone she can hold on to. She wants an adult figure in her life. Rin is not really focusing on what Daji is saying, and Rin does this a lot throughout the series. It's her being also selfish because she's not thinking of the bigger picture. I totally understand her wanting revenge for Alton, but babe, Alton was not a good person. You don't need to have the Phoenix to value your own life. But of course, she doesn't see it that way. She also has the upper hand in this whole situation. But again, she doesn't see it.